This is something I've just found out and I thought it was interesting. An 81-year-old Tunisian man, Amden Dali, challenged a legacy of bondage imprinted into identity cards, relics of Arab slavery, brands of indignity for black Tunisians and the very fabric of their lives. Terms such as atig, meaning freed by, and other terms that denote enslaved ancestry bearing the scars of Arab slavery in Africa are written alongside their full names on official documents. Initially in 2017, his plea was dismissed without justification, yet he persisted and it paid off. In 2020, he was allowed by law to remove it, and Tunisia enacted a law abolishing all forms of racial discrimination. Listen, the first thing that came to mind was, no wonder anti-blackness in North Africa is alive and well. No wonder that in Libya, the selling of black people at a slave market was considered perfectly normal and everyone in the country was aware of it. No wonder melanated people in the Maghreb are discriminated against, even though sometimes they share the same culture, faith, and citizenship. No wonder people with a darker complexion are driven out of cities by local authorities to the furthest part of the Sahara and abandoned there, at the mercy of Mother Nature and their son, knowing very well their chances of surviving are slim. It's interesting because black people were not the only group that were enslaved in Tunisia, but the practice was only kept for them. Perhaps it's because they are visibly distinguished in the spectrum of daylight. No wonder. I mean, there are still people walking among us today who remember experiencing and seeing individuals with a darker complexion as slaves, particularly when you consider that slavery in Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Oman, and the UAE was abolished roughly less than 62 years ago. In fact, we've seen videos and heard stories about the treatment of African domestic workers in those regions of the world. However, let's shift our focus back to the continent, to another country that is still up to today grappling with the legacy of Arab slavery in Africa that lasted the longest, 13 centuries. Mauritania abolished slavery 43 years ago, yet the act was only criminalized 17 years ago. This is all happening in a world where modern-day slavery is on the rise. Like I often say, this doesn't explain that, but still this helps to understand that. And understanding that is not a justification for this. Understanding all the historical factors that lead to these types of discrimination is crucial to serve as a catalyst for those who wish to change, but not as a justification for discriminatory practices.
We, ni nini?